If you feel like you're not enough, struggle to believe in yourself, or just wish that you felt more confident, you need to try these prompts. These journaling prompts cut deep when I first started using them back in 2021 and came up with them. And if I use them today, they still cut deep. So if you're stuck in negative loops, try these. They're super simple, but really powerful.
And today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 powerful self-worth writing and journaling prompts so that you can fully step into your power and so you can align with your highest self and truly feel this conscious and emotional liberation. So before we get started, I want to give you guys a little overview on what self-worth is and how important it really is in your life and in your pursuit of your highest self. So your self-worth is a little different than your self-confidence, but they play a role together very closely and importantly. Our confidence is how we appear on our external world, in this external shell of our body, how we show up, the way we have our posture, the way we hold ourselves, the energy that we express outwards. Whereas our self-worth is how valuable we feel at our core, how important and how enough we feel. It's highly associated, and I say this often in my videos, that it's highly associated with the term "I'm not good enough," right? And I think all of us have that thought at some point in our lives, and that has to do with with your sense of self-worth. If you have a lot of sense of self-worth, that thought pattern is not going to show up in your life that often. But if it shows up in your life often, that's a sign that you have you're struggling to reach your divine sense of self-worth. And I say divine because self-worth at its finest should be coming from the inside. What happens is that a lot of times we are taught in our modern society, we are trained to just obtain our self-worth from the external world through acceptance and validation and affirmation and awards and status, but those are not true senses of self-worth. And you might notice that when you have those things in your external world, maybe you do well and you get an award for something, or you have friends that accept you and like you. And when you're in those positive situations in your life, you don't have the simultaneous thought of "I'm not good enough." And so, but while that might seem pleasant and enjoyable, it's not true self-worth, because true self-worth should be present at all times, whether or not your external reality is going the way that you want it to. True self-worth is feeling whole and valuable as a person by yourself. And so this really involves a lot of the process of truly falling in love with yourself. A sense of self-love is highly associated with your sense of self-worth. And that's why these journal prompts are going to sound a little bit like self-love journaling prompts, but these writing prompts are really about diving into what makes you you. What do you really want to do at your core? What do you really desire? And what would the worthy version of yourself be? And so that leads us to our very first self-worth writing exercise, which is that you are going to write all the traits of the worthy and confident version of yourself. So what does this mean? This means you're going to think about, when you have the thought, "I'm not worthy, I'm not enough," you typically have this image of yourself that if you're not worthy enough, you obviously have this degraded version of yourself that you're not great, you're not special, you're not amazing, which you are all those things. You are worthy and special and amazing. And so you have to imagine yourself as another person. And what would the worthy version of yourself look like? What are the traits that make them seem so worthy? And you're going to write them. Maybe first, and so this is a 2-part writing exercise. And first, you're going to start by writing just the words, and you're going to say perhaps the worthy version of myself is kind, and the worthy version of myself is strong, and the worthy version of myself is welcoming, and they're brave. All right, and you just think of the one-word traits that make you what you would perceive to be worthiness, right? And then after that, you're going to write them in the present tense. You're going to say, "My worthy and confident self does blank." And you're going to go through that with each and every word that you think of and you perceive. And what's going to happen, not only is this going to help you identify what you perceive as worthiness, it's going to help you also integrate that worthiness into you right now. And so it's not this long-term journey of trying to figure out your sense of self-worth. As you identify this and as you reflect on this, you're immediately going to start feeling this sense of worthiness inside. You're going to have a taste of what divine self-worth really is. And so that brings us to our second self-worth writing prompt, which is,
Hey, quick pause in this video. So I have been making videos for years now, but this is technically a brand new channel. My sister Isabel and I used to run a joint channel with our mom, And when she pivoted into a astrology content specific channel, I branched off to focus on mindset and personal growth and empowering you. So here at Be the Hero Academy, me and my mom are on a mission to hit 10,000 subscribers in 90 days and rebuild our amazing community. So if you are vibing with our videos, if this content resonates, drop a like, hit subscribe, and help us grow this channel from the ground up. We really, really appreciate your support. Okay, back to the video.
What things make me feel worthy? And this is really important because in order to develop a sense of divine, true, intrinsic sense of self-worth, we have to be aligned with our passions and with our true self. Now, the true self comes in different aspects, and you should check out my other videos in my Mindfulness for Self-Worth playlist over at Making Mindfulness Fun. But in terms of the passions one, that's where this journal prompt comes in. You have to identify what your passions are, because unfortunately, if you don't have passions, you're never going to be able to develop a sense of divine intrinsic self-worth. And it might be possible, but it's much more difficult without passions, because what passions does is that it creates this world where we do things for the sake of doing, and we're forced to be in a situation where we are detached from the external world, because passions by nature should be something that we do because we love the expression of how we're doing it. So by nature, we're aligned with our worthiness, with our true power, true self, and that's going to create this sense of, I'm pretty amazing, I really love doing this, and I don't care how I show up in the world because I just love this thing so much. So for this prompt, you're going to think through, what are the things I do that make me feel worthy? And maybe in the process, you might identify some things that you do that don't make you feel worthy. Maybe there are certain people that you spend time with that don't make you feel like you're enough. And so the key is thinking about, what are the things that I really love doing? And hopefully this journal prompt isn't very difficult for you. Hopefully it comes to you automatically. I love doing art. I love hanging out with this certain group of people, and these people make me feel like I'm enough. This process makes me feel like I'm enough. This activity makes me feel like I'm enough. And that is key. When you can identify those things, you'll know that I need to make more time in my life for these things. The third self-worth writing and journal prompt is, what would you pursue? What dream would you pursue if you didn't care what people thought of you? And that includes the people closest to you. And this really, really is important for developing your divine intrinsic self-worth, because when we don't know what our desire is, then we have lost our power, and our power is associated with our self-worth. If we don't know what we really want, then we're numbing what we truly are, right? Us at our core knows what we really want. But if we don't know what we really want, that's a sign that we don't know who we truly are. And what happens is that we don't know who we truly are when people have expectations of us, when people tell us we have to change to be something that we're not, and when we try to fit ourselves to fit in with the people around us and to fit other people's expectations of us, right? And so this is coming back to ourselves. This is a process of coming back to ourselves and coming back to our self-worth. If you can identify what your dream and your desire is, no matter what other people think of you, then you have found your self-worth. And this journal prompt can be really fun. You can really start thinking big about what you really want. And you have to remember not to write your dreams and desires that are extrinsic self-worth, because that would be the antithesis of this process, right? You can't say things like, I want to be famous one day, because that would be a projection of the self-worth you're going to feel when other people approve and accept of you when you're famous. But that's not healthy self-worth. That's coming from the external world. It's not coming from within. So you have to think through the dreams and desires that you really want to pursue from the inside out.
If this video inspired you or lit something up inside of you, don't let that spark fade. Don't let the momentum fade. These journal prompts are powerful, but if you are ready to go deeper and finally transform those beliefs, rewire your brain, and change the beliefs that are keeping you stuck in the same self-worth struggles, these journal prompts are really powerful. But if you're ready to go deeper and finally shift those beliefs that are keeping you stuck repeating the same self-worth struggles, I have something for you. I'm offering free 30-minute coaching calls right now where we'll identify what's keeping you stuck in these same loops and map your path out to real lasting magnetic confidence. The link is in the description down below, so go grab a spot right now. And if you're not quite ready to chat one-on-one, make sure you also grab the free download that I created that is called the 5 Scripts to Eliminate Not Enoughness Syndrome, 5 Scripts to Eliminate Unworthiness. It is free and seriously one of the best tools that I have. It has the 5 core mindset shifts that you really need to make in the big picture for you to focus on the person you want to become instead of the person you've always been. And last thing, leave me a comment down below. Let me know which of these journal prompts you're most excited to try, which one is going to hit the hardest, which one has already hit the hardest if you already did it as we were going through this video, which you're finally ready to let go of. Did something come up for you? I'd love to hear about it and cheer you on in the comments down below. Be sure to like this video if you haven't already and subscribe to our channel as we strive to grow our channel to 10,000 followers in the next 90 days.